Okay, everyone. My name's obviously Ball, or at least the player behind Ball. I read a bunch of questions that I wanted to answer that I've seen more and more often. At least three of them are commonly asked questions, at least in chat. I'm not sure if it's just because people don't understand PyCons or if they're just weird questions. First one is can PyCons get stabbed and what comes out? Uh, yes, PyCons can get stabbed. They're just little people, play things. What comes out? Anger. They don't have organs or blood or anything, so they don't produce any of that sort of problems when it comes to that. Probably a bit of their clay would probably attach to the sword or maybe come out when it pulls out, but other than that, I don't. There's no liquid per se. Next question is just, can pycons swim? Um, Good question. I think with enough training they could, but innately no. They're probably gonna sink like a rock. They have a natural buoyancy of air or a natural shape if their shape was to give to it like they were shaped like a bowl or maybe a boat of some sort. But other than that, they're not going to probably. I know some of them can produce bubbles like inhaling it and forming a bubble, which might help them, but a lot of times I'm assuming they're just gonna sink. Um, I get this question a lot, and I was actually given an answer from this by one of I believe it was Gossamer that answered this one. I'm not entirely sure anymore. It's whether pycons can become ghosts, nuets, or eths, and the answer to this one is pretty easy. Ghosts, yes. They have a soul. Just because their body turns to stone doesn't mean they can't become a ghost. They're still a living animate creature. They're a sentient being. So yes, they become a ghost. Um, as for a nuet, no, because they just answer that question. They become a big old block of stone. So uh, they're not. That's useless to them. As for the eth, with the way the current lore is, yes, there isn't anything stopping them from doing so because of the same principles as the ghost. However, if I remember Kalium, sorry, her rewrite, I think that he would have to have done something in related to upholding one of the gods of the Eth, Senya or Leth. But as of the lore right now, from my understanding, they can't become Neth. So now I got a couple other questions. These are actually from players that are specific. Bernard Witt, sorry if I am pronouncing that not wrong, but Bernard asked me two questions. The first one is, what is Ball's deepest fear? His deepest fear is being alone. He's coming to realize that people die and they move on, but he's not ready to part ways with people, and it makes him very, very angry, and he has trouble with losing that sort of situation. Other than that, he absolutely can't stand ships. They scare the hell out of him, partly because of the logo from the Cerulean Regional Quest from 512. And other than that, flying. He can't fly. There's no physical way a python can fly, so I would imagine flying is a deep fear. Um, His next one was if Ball had never met IMAS, where would he be? Um, Good question. I don't know. I've never actually figured out where Ball was actually going to go until he started threading with IMAS in the very beginning. His original concept was to become a companion for another player who's no longer with us, but uh, that never happened, and I figured let's just run Ball wherever. And he became the squire to IMAS, who was a player at night at the time. Now, Red asked me a couple of questions. One of them is just funny, because she can, and the other ones were pretty serious questions. I'm going to answer the first one, which is, what is Ball's shoe size? He doesn't wear shoes, so that's really a non-applicable answer. Probably those little Barbie doll shoes, the really small ones are like maybe this big because he's got really small feet. But I don't really think there's a shoe size for those other than really fucking small. Sorry, I swear. um, the future goals for Ball. Yeah, I guess there's three different things I want him to do. Um, I'd like him to become Grandmaster. If that one doesn't happen, the next one would end up being a weapons master. He's definitely combat oriented, so that would remain. One I would like, but I don't foresee it happening. Where in any current situation with Ball is to become a god. That's just something I don't foresee ever happening. I would like to see him punch a god. That'd be funny, but become one, not happening. Um, Her third question is, will Bob be doing any traveling? Um, I have plans for that. I'd like him to go to Riverfall and start learning some stuff there, but as of right now, I'm still waiting for his quest to be completed, so he probably won't be leaving Solarius anytime soon until that's completed. But yes, I do want him to go traveling a little bit. Like I said, to Riverfall, there is an outpost there, so it would logically provide me with a reason for going. Because if there was nothing there for him to go, he would never leave Celerius. So I feel that somebody like him, he would want a reason to go someplace, and that would be a good one for him. As a writer for Ball, do you feel that you have reached Ball's ultimate potential? If not, then what do you feel still needs refining? I never feel like my characters reach their full potential. There's always something to be refined. In Ball's case, he needs to quit punching everyone. He really does. He just likes to punch things, and it's not good for him or anyone else. So that needs to change. I feel like he has to become less violent and realize that violence and beating each other up is not always the answer. So that kind of ties in with future goals of becoming the Lord Knight, because part of their job is leadership and tactics and like teaching. So I think he needs to start setting down the ability to fight and setting up the ability to become less like what he is now, I guess. He just really needs to stop being violent. I think that will change a lot for him. Would you ever apply to have Ball receive a gnosis? If so, which one? Actually, I've already had to do that with Ball. In order for him to do his knighting quest, you have to apply for a gnosis, because the end result is you get marked by Siler. But other than that, yes, I'd like to eventually get him ready for Avanta, which is another combat-oriented one, and I think it would work well for him. So eventually, yes, I'd like to do that one. What was Ball's motivation on becoming a knight or squire? Because Reddy said you weren't sure of his rank. As of this point in time, neither am I. Technically, with the timestamp, depending on how long the quest would take to finish, he would be considered a knight. But because his quest is unfinished currently, I can't utilize the term knight or give him the title sir. So, for all intents and purposes, he is considered a squire, and that's actually coming straight from the mouth of Nightmare when I was asking about that in regards to my seasonal expenses in the ledger for Ball, and the other two Pycons in the middle of the quest. So there was that. Clyde asked me a good set of questions that are paired together. I honestly think this may have something to do with what we were planning and plotting before. It was, should Ball ever accidentally end up serving evil or the bad side, how would he react? Um, he's going to kill you. If he ever finds out that he ended up serving that side, he is probably going to go apeshit and kill everything in his path. Um, would he just flex explode from the contradiction? Maybe not from the contradiction, but maybe from going around mass killing everything that's in his path, because he really is, at this state of mind, he is completely against the idea of Russell and evil and everything that he encompasses. So that so far is all of the questions. One of the questions, I'm going to go back to it, was Red asked future goals for Ball, and as I mentioned, I wouldn't mind seeing Ball ascend to a god. But as of right now, like I said, it wasn't part of his current laid out plans track wise, because he doesn't have any inclination of what he wants to do per se in character. But yeah, I'd like to see him probably take over Mary's place, the goddess of war, because it definitely would fit him. Or maybe some sort of like god of violence or something, because as of this state in mind with Ball, he is extremely violent. Other than that, there really isn't much more on his goals there. I did say he wanted to punch a god, at least one. Two would be cool, but as of right now, I don't think either of them would be possible. Obviously, one is Russell, because that's just like the opposite of what Ball is, at least, and the god that he tends to, that he's currently providing for attention for. So be able to punch Russell right in the face would be great. He probably wouldn't survive it, but it'd be great. The last one would be Miri, because again, if I was to do that, I would probably have him force himself into Ascension, because of the fact that he had the power to do something like that. But again, that would have to do with the whole concept of him wanting to do that, and that's just not in the game plan. So I think I answered all the questions. I'm on chat right now, so let me see if I can find any other questions before I post this up. No, there's nothing else that would appear. So yeah, that's it for now. You guys have a wonderful day, and if I have any more questions, I will be sure to answer them.